into your next state. You will have a plasma body before you leave, even if you didn't have the coding of femborn to have a plasma body, because not everybody is born with the coding for a plasma body. The people who have plasma bodies are the ones who were femborn to begin with. We have light bodies that have lotus structures. Everybody has that, but not everybody has the lotus anatomy of the plasma body anatomy. So this is actually where you will get the plasma body anatomy, even if you were born with a template that didn't have one. Plasma body anatomy is fascinating. When you start to we've worked with different levels of projection and those kind of things, where we can, move ourselves in astral body, move ourselves in various forms, our Ajay body. But the plasma bodies are very, very real feeling, much more like 3D real feeling. At least I find that when you project in them, it's quite amazing, where you can actually like project a part of yourself in front of yourself, shake your own hand and feel it, which is really wild. Hello. Whoa, that's weird, right? So, and it's really neat as far as like when you're connecting with other people, you can, my partner and I will sometimes like connect on the phone, that if he and his friends are doing grid work, say, like he's from Norway, over in Norway, and it would be good if I could be there to run the magnetics on the Reyes codes that we share. We'll like do the cell phone thing, and they'll put me on speakerphone, and I'll project over in plasma body and stand there, and I can feel me there with them. And sometimes they've said they can feel me, there as well. And sometimes we'll, project back and forth they're teaching us how to do this. So there is a lot of fun that you can have once you start activating the plasma body. And it does some really fascinating things, like with the lotus anatomy. You can do fascinating things with that. Like you can like move your lotuses around, and like they're like little radar stations. Every little petal on every little lotus is a transmitting and receiving station. You can kind of move it over toward a tree and listen to the leaves talk. You can put it underwater and hear whale songs if you put it out far enough, right? I mean, it's fascinating what you can do with this aspect of anatomy. So when we do the K+8 templates, it will give not just the small beginnings of, say, like a +1 plasma template, but it will give the full spectrum that can progressively activate, and a full K+8 plasma body would kind of be like X-Men style, I think, where you'd be able to like literally shapeshift, go through walls, disappear, come out the other side, time travel. That's where we get into the categories of the Tantrileya, actually, which are the ones they call gate walkers, wave runners, and star riders. So that's the full potential of the K+8 factor. And some people will be able to actually attain that. And I do believe there's other generations that will be coming that will have more of that factor with them. So there will be some of us from the generations now, but in the future there's 900 years more left here. So there's going to be some of them coming. And whoa, the hairs just stood up all over my arms. That's usually confirmation, right? When that happens, wow. So we're kind of going to be the trailblazers, and the ones here that can do this. There's a project that involves the Alhambra passages, and what is the year? 6530 AD, I believe, where the Center for Advancement of Interdimensional Communication exists on Median Earth. We'll be progressively opening the Alhambra passages between here and there, and also going back into certain periods in time, like the Christ period and a few other significant periods, one of the periods in Atlantean history, where we will be actually opening through the deity planes the gates back, so we'll be able to get others out from other time periods. Some of us will have some really strange jobs where there'll be a stealth cover, like, an Institute of Advanced Educational Studies in Consciousness, and like in the back room, that'd be like the Superman phone booth, or something similar, where, the secret spot, where there will probably be certain trainings that people who actually do have the capacity, and they start having weird experiences. There was some show, I forget what it was called, a series, and they referred to them as the abnormals, because they had certain abilities that were beyond normal, and so like that, those were like turning into werewolves and various other things. So that was a negative connotation. But they had set up an institute which had like a science cover, and it did certain things in 3D But what it was really there for was it was a refuge and a sanctuary for people who had these extra abilities, and it would help them if they needed help managing the abilities, like the werewolves turning into werewolves. Yes, there was a thing you could do to stop that, and those kind of things. We won't be turning into werewolves, but there will be. But the concept of having safe spaces for people that do have those talents, you know, it is a gift compared to if you have billions and billions of people who say aren't femme-born, and you just have like 1 billion that are, they would be considered gifted in relation. It's not that everybody isn't gifted in some way. Everybody is gifted in some way. But that is a particularly difficult gift to manage, because down here there's no training for it. And what do you do if you start shape-shifting and it scares the heck out of you? And, you know, well, yeah, those kind of things. So there will be training programs. And I'm really hoping that anytime soon it'd be great if they would just be able to take us through even to the Center for Advancement of Interdimensional Communication, which they had made contact with me from there when I was a child, actually, and had taken me back and forth a couple of times in the early days. And that's where I got a lot of my training before I started my speaker contract. So I know it's possible, and I don't know if I can still do it, if my body can still tolerate, you know, the frequency shifts, because there are a lot higher frequencies now. Whatever passages they had open then, we're not running full plasmas or anything. But it's a big adventure. It's almost like, wow, we're really walking into a sci-fi movie now, but a good one, because we will get these gates open. It's not about the warring over them anymore. The warring, they can, you know, the other side will still try to fight, but they're fighting for head count. They can't block the gates, but they will try to block knowledge of them. They'll try to block access to them, but if you have the K plus factors in your DNA and the gates are open, it's just like attracts like. So even if you're quarantined someplace, if, like, you know, they put us all under martial law or something, and Blub has worked with us vertically to activate those templates, they might be very surprised that we would disappear from jail cells and things like that. So, yeah, but hopefully it won't get that bad for at least quite a while on the planet.